Hello everyone, welcome again. So we are going back to Go, and what I want to build here is something like DevTools. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but it has a lot of like developer tools, and I want to learn Go again, right? Remember when I did the advent of code, and since then I haven't actually touched Go. So I want to kind of utilize some of its feature and build something like this on the CLI. So of course I can't go, I might, but like I can't implement everything. There's too many things here. But we can get started, and then I want to build it plugin by plugin basis. So what plugin means is one thing. So encoder and decoder can be one plugin. All the encoding will happen there. One video will be that. All the JSON things will be in one place, and I want to build it like that. Today we're going to look at JSON mostly, but we're also going to do a lot of setting up for the project. So with that, I think we can get started, right? In here, what I'm going to do is make a directory. Let's call it YouTube slash, I think I wanted to call it dev needs. I guess you can't do that. Let's call it YouTube and cd into YouTube, and then we'll make a directory called dev needs. We'll cd into dev needs. That's it. And then in here, what I want to do is firstly init a Go module. We have to give it Go mod init. I'll give it my GitHub slash dev needs. So that's created. The way I want to lay out the structure is quite specific. I wrote it somewhere about how I want to lay it out. Let me pull that up. Okay. So inside dev needs, I want a command folder. So we'll make a directory called cmd. So this will store all of the CLI commands, so including flags and all the Cobra stuff. Also, I haven't mentioned is I'm going to use Cobra for the CLI. But yeah, with that, make the command directory. We're also going to make the plugins directory. So this is where all of our functionality goes. So the JSON, the encoding stuff, and everything else, right? And I want to have one more thing called utilities. So anything that might be used again and again, so like reading from a file, writing to a file, those kind of things will go inside this package. Okay, now it's time to install Cobra. Let me search that up real quick. I forgot how it's done. Maybe I'll bring that up. Cobra Go. Yeah, I'll bring up here so you can see as well. In here, and I think it's pretty straightforward. You just have to import it directly. First, go get, so you can get it inside. I think I may have already installed it, but there you go. It adds all of that into your directory, and after that, I think it is just use it kind of thing, right? So that's done. That can go outside. Okay, let me just open NeoVim now. See, remember, I'm actually starting to use NeoVim. Maybe at some point I'll make some video. Still not proficient at it. Still have to go to VS Code. But let's leave that talk right now, right? So this is our structure. So we've got the Go mode file. Go sum was created. Here should be the Cobra. Yeah, Cobra is installed and everything else that might be needed. So there is a way you can set up Cobra as well, so it automatically creates the files that we need. I don't remember, I was too early to close that, so if I just go in again, let me search up Go, Cobra, and remember how I actually initialize. I think it's just Cobra in it, but let's see. generator. So yeah, that is all I have to say. If I open the terminal now, I can just say Cobra CLI, and then init. There you go. It auto, so as you can see, it just created the main.go file and the licenses, and in the command folder it will have created some root as well. So this is from where everything goes on. You don't really need to modify anything here because everything is just set up. You can read through it, so it says how everything works, how you can set flags, how you can set persistent flags and everything. So that is all for it. So if I go into plugins, let's create a directory called JSON, and inside that let's have I don't really know what should I call it. JSON utilities. I think that will be a shout. Let me see. Maybe if I wanted to call something before. Oh no, it's about what I want, right? So this is. So there are three things that I want within JSON. A formatter, so it just formats it like pretty, with the right indentation and stuff. I want to implement minify, so the opposite of pretty, so everything will just be like one line, everything, no spaces and everything. And one thing is validator, just to validate that JSON, well, is valid. So that's what will go in here. Let's start with something like the formatter, right? Where did it go? But before that, I want to show everything in the command folder. Again, this will be a repeat of every plugin that exists, and it will define all of the flags and stuff. So if we're going to do the JSON, what we can say is create a file. Let's call it JSON.go. Let's just call it JSON utilities because it's going to be a lot of different things. There we go. I'm pretty sure you can do this in Cobra as well, and might be much faster rather than doing it by yourself. But we can start empty up here, no problem. But otherwise, I think there is a way to register through Cobra all the packages that you're going to have. See if I can find it, then you can just run it if you wanted to. If I can't find it, oh yep. So if I did something like, let me open the terminal. So you can again say Cobra CLI add. So this will add the packages. So if I say add JSON utils, will that run? I don't know. I typed it wrong. Cobra CLI add JSON utilities. There you go. I still have added it. Now let's see if it did. No, not there. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it's because I already have a decent utilities. See if it did anything different. Main not being really good. Anything good either. Okay, let's try deleting that and then see if that works this time around, right? So again, we say Cobra CLI. Or do I have to do inside command? So I'm just reading the docs, by the way. Maybe it's better if I bring it up here. So this is how you add any of the plugins I said, but the packages that Cobra creates. So initialize, you can continue to use the Cobra agent to add additional commands to your application. The command to do this is that in your project directory where the main goal is, you should run this, right? And I feel like that's what we did, but let's try it one more time. If it doesn't work, we will just manually write it. No problem there. So Cobra CLI add JSON utils. created at home/dev news. There we go. As you can see now, it's got created. I think it's because we already had created it. It didn't register. And as you can see, it already has all of that format that you need to actually get going. So yeah, it is much faster rather than writing it. So if I, oh, see, still used to the mouse, but still trying to get learn things along the way. So if I, what did I want to do? So yeah, since we're here, let's not say JSON individuals. I just want to call JSON. And here we can give a description. So we'll delete some of these. What description should we get? Let's just say various utilities to work with JSON files and strings. Right? I don't know if I want a longer description. Then just delete that and leave it as it is, or there's more. Let's delete that and we'll just leave that as it is. So that's the use is the JSON. So you'll say go run main.go. You're running your application. JSON is the command. These two are the descriptions, and this is what runs. So if you want to define any of your flags and everything, or like how certain functionalities work, you will do that inside the run function. So what can we do? So I guess we can start by setting up some of the flags, right? So I said I wanted to do format, I wanted to do minify, and I wanted to do verify. Why don't I just add those things? There we go. Why don't I add those in here? Just give me a second, setting up some of this stuff. Okay. So the root command, add command. So we're adding the JSON utilities command to the root. This is what the first line is doing. You can leave that as it is. Let me just remove some of that. Delete that. And in here, we'll say JSON utils.cmd. So that is our command above. And we will say dot flags. This gets all of the flags. And then first thing we want to do is format. And formatting can be yes or no, or you can specify more after the flag. But for now, let's just say if you want to format something or not. So we'll give it a Boolean variable. I also want to give it a shortcut, so it's a Boolean variable p. And in here, you have to pass something where the value of the variable that you're using, or the flag that you're using, is stored. And it has to be a pointer, so we'll say something along the format file flag. So that will be our flag. And then we'll say format. So that's the long way of saying. So we'll say JSON format to format something. And the short one will be F. And then after that, we have to give it the default value. So it'll start with false, so it's a exists, and finally like a description. So we'll say pretty format JSON files or splits. Okay? So that creates, so now it's complaining that the format file flag doesn't exist. So if we go back up slightly and we can create some variables up here, because there's going to be more flags, we'll just do that in one, and we will call this format file flag, and then this will be a boolean, and that is sorted, right? So now we can go inside our formatter, and then in here we can write all of the logic that we need to format the file. So what should we do? Let's start with a package. Oh, what did that do? I don't know. Let's read that. So this should all be inside. Should also be inside a JSON package, right? We'll do that, and we'll start a function first. What function do I want to call? Call it formatter, maybe just a formatter. if I just call, let's call it format JSON, capitals. Remember the first capital letter as well. That means it's exported and that we can actually use it somewhere else. We can define it within our JSON utils file. To say what it means. We'll make it so that the user can enter multiple paths. So we'll say JSON file paths, and those will just be a list of strings, string even, and we'll say indent type. Let's not worry about that for now. And we'll log something. You can just do fmt.println. I want to be a bit proper, so I'm going to say log, and then we're going to print the line, and all we're going to say is formatting of JSON files. So the files started, just so we know that the function has reached this point. And then all we have to say is for each of the file paths, what should we do? For each of the file paths of within the range of JSON file paths, we need to somehow read the file, right? We haven't made anything that reads the file path, so it's good to. Now it's inside the utils folder. We'll add a file. What do we want to call it? Read. No, maybe I want to create read and write in one place. Maybe I should call it something along. Actually, the way I wanted to structure this was utilities can have many things, but I wanted to separate things for the plugins separately within utils. So in here, I'll have another directory called plugins common, so the common files for all of the plugins, and inside there I'll create one more file called buidl, and that will deal with all our files. So in here, I'll just say this packet, still want you insert first, and so this is our plugins common packet. It was suggested plugins common package. It's that elbow. So that's our plugins common package. And then I want to create a function called read file, and it will take in a single file path, and the file path of course will be the string. And then what I want to return, so I want to read, I'm pretty sure the JSON encoders take it in byte. So what we would want to return is bytes, but we could also have an error, right? While reading the files. We'll say file error is going to be OS, so that provides the functionalities. So we want to read the file and we want to read the file path. Okay, now we have to say if, and the most classic Go thing is if error is not nil, we return nil, so we can't return anything, and we will say fmt select that dot printf. No, I want to throw an error, right? So we have to say error f. Just say n. I think I remember that doesn't like it when there's a capital in an error, so you have to say with a lowercase. An error will have some of these weird rules that don't even make sense. It's nice that it has those rules, then everything is in place, but sometimes it's just weird, like what difference does it make if error starts with the uppercase, right? An error occurred while reading, we said while reading the file path, and then %w will handle the error, or like show the error. So this will be the file path, and then we will say error. There we go. And that's still containing your file. We'll see. Let's see. And then if we didn't get an error, we just want to return the file, and the error will be there. We go. Sorted. So that just reads the file, right? So if I go back to my formatter, in here I can just say, what do we call it? So we try this common, right? Here you. So we put in plugins common, and in here we have our file. What is it called? Minify. Yep, that's what we want. It will take the file, will take the file path, and that's it. And it can return the file contents, or an error. That's it. If we receive an error, all I want to do is log the error. There we go. Oop. Okay, I went. What's this? This is what we were. So that's at the top, it's just all of the files that we have open. File content is complaining. Why is it complaining? Let's have a look. Oh, mouse. The mouse habit is gonna take a while to go. For our file path, with that. No, because we haven't returned anything yet. It will probably contain something for now. But we still haven't formatted anything, right? So we'll just read the file, but we haven't really done any formatting. How do we format? We have to use the encoding /JSON thing. So let's say JSON. So it got the encoding /JSON, so dot. I think it has a function called indent, yeah. And it takes a buffer pointer, so that will be where our formatted strings, file, whatever you want to call it, will get stored. So I just want to call it formatted file content. And then it takes a source of byte, so that it will be our file content. The prefix, so that is what it will up. That is like the indentation spaces that it will take. And then the spaces, I don't want to write a fixed number of spaces, right? So we will create something that will sort of give you the indent. So we'll just call it indent level. It's not defined yet, but we will. But that means we also need to handle this. I think it only returns it. It returns only an error. So we'll say, oh my god, if error. If we got an error from this, then we will just say we got an error. No, but you have to do it slightly differently. So you go there, and you say error is not nil. Then we do something. We'll do again log dot printf. We'll say fail when formatting, and then we will give the file path again, And then the error that we got is just that. And then since it's not a new line, print line event, we won't add a new line, so we'll add a new line manually. And then we'll just give the file path again and then pass the error. So let's define which one's the script. Let's say we don't come here again, so we can delete that. I don't know. What's this? I don't know why it's doing that. Usually just keeps the other. Let's go through all of the tabs. What's it? And problems with the we don't know how to use it properly. Anyway, formatted files. I want to create a variable called formatted file content. And this is going to be of type bytes.buffer. That's the one. Let's give it some space. I think if I do that, now I can read these. Let's leave that here. And not even that, just this. And then we need to define indent level. So the indent level will be a flag that the user sets. But I also want, along with the indent level, is the type of indent, right? Do you want it to be spaces or do you want it to be a tab? Okay, so we'll let the users choose. So we'll say, we'll give a variable called indent, and it will give it a string. So the user can set space or tab. So we'll say if indent type is the space. So if the user chooses a space, then what we will do is the indent level. What? No, what? No, the indent will be the indent. So the indent will define the indent will define the actual indentation. So we'll say indent is string dot repeat, and we will repeat a single space because the user chose space, and then that will be by space indent level. Again, I haven't defined that. And then else if indent type is a tab, then the indent is simply it's going to be a single tab. The reason I keep hitting tab is because I've mapped my caps lock to the escape key and accidentally type tab hasn't helped much. I feel like it's created a problem worse than better, but we'll see. So, so in here we'll say instead of indent level, we'll just say indent. So what's indent type? We haven't defined it. It'll come to the flag, so we'll have to just pass it in here. So the indent type is going to be a string and space indent level is going to be an integer. Okay, so it doesn't know strings yet, so let's import that.
There we go. Do the job. String. There we go. So we haven't returned anything still, have we?
So we define the indent level and stuff. So we'll say now we need to write the file. So we'll just say, what do we call it? File IO. Okay. Here we'll just call it function write file. Again, we'll take the file path. It will be a string. Does it need to return anything? No, it doesn't have to return anything. All it needs to do is write to the file, and that's all. We'll just return an error if something happens. So I guess we do need to return something, and that will be the error file path, and we write. Oh, we need data that we need to write, right? Just and what we'll say is the error is simply going to be OS again dot write file. And what happened there?
Okay, that's fine.
What we're going to write though? No, we're going to write to the file path the data, and what we say permission. The permission that we want to give is 0644, just means that the owner can read and write whatever, blah blah, I don't know. Okay, it does the job. If error is not equal to nil, we'll just return an error again, fmt.error off, error third one, writing to set s, give back the error, and we'll just give the file path, and we'll pass it there. And that's it. Right? When we have to return something, we just say still comparing.
I haven't really said what the data is. There we go. Just give it that. There we go.
Now we can go back to our formatter, and we just need to write it, right?
It's getting late, guys. I need to go to sleep.
See, but let's finish the format, and then I'll just show you the code from minify and everything else. How about that? Much better, right? Yeah. What do I need to do? I need to write. Nope. Still on that. Leave that line again and again. Okay, so plugins common, we have a new thing called write file. And inside write file, we will take the same path, so we're going to overwrite what we had formatted file content. So that's our formatted file content. But it takes it in bytes, so I could convert that into bytes, and that should be it.
And it will
Just say log, we'll give a log that we have finished it as well, so everything ran. Smoothly formatting of vision files is complete. Full stop. There we go. And I think that should be it. If I create some new example, let's call it example JSON, and then we will, I don't know, define insert. Let's just say name. Social clothes, fashion.
And
I don't know. We'll say we'll open another thing, and then we will say company, and we'll say we'll create some nesting just so we know. Company name. Company name is going to be La La Land, and then I press tab again, wrong place, and we want it to, okay, add a comma, and then what we want is this bunch of different things, right? So we will say time is going to be whatever bad format, that is going to be yes, and maybe we will open one more random thing, and we will say something like now. Yes. I don't know, right? So we have this file. So if I open our program, I'll say go run main.go, and it was JSON, the command, and what we want to do is format. Let's see if probably get an error. JSON utils called. So it was called, but did I ever say call this function? I don't think I have. So if I skip from this, and if we go to our JSON utils, yes, I haven't defined, haven't said ever that we need to actually call the function. So we'll go in here. If we got the format, I realize there's a couple more things we need to do, but let's just see if it works. If I got the format file flag, then I just need to call my plugins. Not my plugins, but my plugin. What do I call it plugin? For showing me plugins, right? No, shouldn't it even be that? Shouldn't it be JSON utils? That is the when you forget, go this. No, I just called it JSON. What did I mouse? But if I go back into my formatter, it was called JSON. The package was called JSON. Okay, that's what I needed to do. So if I go back into here, none of that. Yes. So it's just JSON. That's the one that we need. Encode. No, not the encoding sense. Maybe I shouldn't have called it JSON. The package. Okay, let me see one more time. I feel like I'm not looking properly. So, got this. It's fine. File formatter. JSON. I think calling it JSON probably is not the right idea, right? Why not? It's JSON. This no, because when I say JSON in here, let's try it. I want it to auto import basically. That's what I'm trying to do rather than writing it by myself. But sometimes you just have to because when was I? That's the format JSON file.
I want to go into
JSON utils. In here, I want to say JSON, but there's two of them, right? One of them will get the encoding slash JSON. The other one I want to get is, I think it just doesn't like it. Let me call it something else. Yeah, let's give it the same utils. And then now I can go into let's leave that line. Okay, now this shows up and it comes normal. I think just calling it JSON was a very bad idea. So JSON utils dot format JSON. No, that will be the arguments that we get. Right? Because we'll give some, we'll say JSON, we'll give some flags, and the arguments that we give will be the file path. Was there not enough arguments in JSON utils? String and an integer. Oh, okay. So that should be what's it called? That'll be our flags, right? That we set. So what flags do we want? We have the arguments, and then the indent type, and the indent level, right? So we'll say indent, the indent level. We don't have that defined up here yet. So we'll say indent type is going to be a string, and the indent level
is going to be an integer. Did I mistype it anywhere in type?
What's this complaining about? Indent type undeclaring INDEN. Okay. There we go. Indent type. Okay. Okay, we got the indent type and the indent level. And we also had one more thing. But what happens? So we give indent type and indent level to the thing. I think that's one of the what came from the name. You couldn't remember what type. That is fine, isn't it? So we give the indent type and the indent level in the JSON string automatically. But the thing is, if the indent level only works if indent type is space, right? So I have to define that somewhere. So see that's here. Because we don't have indent level if it's a tab, right? Tab is the level set itself. But if it's a space, you can have 2 or 4 spaces. We'll say if or command is all flags. We list all of the flags. And then if we say changed, what's the name of the flag? The flag is element type. If that has changed, and it's not formal. what I want to say is that. So basically, for now, if somehow the thing is, indent type can only be set. As I said, we're going to do three things with JSON, and indent type can only be set if we're formatting the file. So I just want to add that for now. So if in the future we do add everything else, we don't have that problem. So I'll just say indent type can only be used set when formatting file. Okay, I think that should be enough. If you can go to log, log out too. Okay, now we can say indent level and indent whatever, right? Again, same thing again, flags, and then we will say dot changed indent level. And the indent type, which is not a space, then it's an invalid, right? So we will become print line, and say indent level and only be set in indent that is space. That's it. What's it containing a lot? It's not equal to is equal to JavaScript. Indent. Okay, that should be fine. Log dot print line. What's that containing a lot? Log dot print line undefined. Data. What's a capital? Oh man, I'm still such a noob at moving. Yeah, hopefully I get there someday. There we are. And that's fine. Oh no, this will be continued. It's return something, we'll do the same up here.
And hopefully
That should do the job. Let's open the terminal. I actually want to go to the JSON file first. There we go, and then open the terminal. Let's say go run main.go JSON. That's that format. Do we want to give it indent level
or not is the question.
Let's give it start with indent type of tab. Let's try that. Undefined log print line. Where did I say? Oh, did I do a small letter again? JSON utilities dot go.
There's a print line. Both of them are caps.
Is it anywhere else?
I'll say that anywhere else. Print line.
It must be used to.
What was the error about?
I do it, but I can't remember the error. Undefined log.println.
JSOnutils.go. Maybe it's something that's called by this.
We need specifically to the format, right? So if I go to the format, print, it's a print.
everything
It seems fine. Unless it's just the print that's the issue, but it's a print line clearly. Long defined. Let's try it one more time and then we'll say I'm pretty sure it's saved the line by everything. So we'll name it down. Format. It's going to be undefined 31.8 98 31. So I don't see that anyway. 31.8, just remember that. In here, printing nothing in here. It's like a JSOn, it's like a bash. JSON utilities 931. Give me some time because I don't see a problem up here at all. I don't know whatever the error was, but I did notice something else. Is I haven't actually defined the flags up here. So let's quickly do that before and then see if the error goes away. I doubt it will because it was complaining about some print line, but it could be. It could be. So we'll say JSON utils flag, and then we need to check the indent level and the indent type, right? So the indent type is firstly a string variable. I think I might allow you to give it a shortcut for this. Too many shortcuts, otherwise maybe I'll come back at some point and properly think about the shortcuts and then
What is going on? Okay. Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Properly think about the shortcuts and then add them one by one. But for now, I think it is okay. So we're defining the indent level. So give it a point. What is happening? U
I and string I. Why does it do that when
I go into insert mode?
it's
Tell me to press on. Oh no, it's okay. It's the actual suggestion, and I kept thinking it was writing something at the top, and I was like, what is going on, right? So we have the indent type, and then what we're going to say is, if we get an indent type, simply, and the value of that indent type is a space. We do something, but we just need to define it. Type of indent space. We can define that. And then we'll also give a indent level. Indent level is going to be an integer, so it's an integer variable. And here again we'll pass in our pointer indent indent level. So okay, indent level again, and then the level will be 2, so it's 2 spaces at the start, and then we will say indent level, indent level, and indent type of space, so we can only do it with it's a space. Okay, let's try it to see if that was the error. Indent level, and that's going to be set with tab to begin with, right? Error unknown command tab for dev, please.
okay? Did I not set
Include for tab. It's not a space.
Cancel indent level. Indent type is string. We can pass the indent type in here. And here we say if indent type is space, do that. Otherwise, do tab. But what have we haven't actually said
how to format it, right?
So we've got all of this. We got the indent. We decided indent, but what do we?
No, we do say the file content that, and then the indent is the actual indent. Unless I type to it again. So indent type and indent level. Indent level, indent type. Let's try this as space and then we'll see. That's format. And then again, we indent. One spelling instead. Indent. Let's call it space. Indent. Level. Let's call it Q. Ooh, on the space for that means. I know why. We can keep it to tab here because I know exactly why this is not working because it's a tab. But it's a JSON because that is the main that we're running. There we go. Or no, it said exit status. Classic. So classic. Did it? No, that's format. We'll run main.go JSON, that's format. That's just indent. And it's going to be a tab.
Oh. Okay. But why is it not updated? I don't think
that worked as I was expecting it to.
I go into the formatter. That's failed. Right file formatting of JSON files is complete. Return then. What about in write file? What's the file item? In any order flow. Dot write file. Maybe I should add
some logs in here just to. I guess when it completes writing it, we'll say something, right? We'll say write with syntax.
JSON slash file. Oh no, because we didn't
actually specify the file, maybe.
Okay, that's fine.
So just write it in the directory with such sense. From we'll open a new line and then we'll put file path.
That's fine. Let's go back in here.
So then and then it's a dot slash within dev names. This is like plugins. JSON. If I can just go in here, it's not going to be
Don't hate me for using a mouse. I keep saying that, but it's
a habit that's not going to do
easy. Okay, undefined log.
File undefined log. Okay.
That's not. If I just there we go. JSOn. Oh my god, what is going on? Indent level. Because I'm using indent level with indent tab. Just remove that. No. It's still saying it's complete. Error occurred when pack is not found. Expected pack is found in the file. Why would it have? Don't tell me. What? JSOn slash example.go. Who said example.go? Right? I said example.json. We have been able to add it inside. Expected package still saying that plugin slash JSON slash example.go. I just need to do that. Okay. One more time. Go, one, main.go. JSON, over. Indent type. It's going to be a tab. Slash indents slash JSON plan example.go. Example.go again. Why is it? I think if I do it once, it just expects that to be a thing. So let's say JSON there. And then let's say again dot slash plugins slash JSON slash JSON. Sorry to God. Well, who the hell created that example? Yes. Okay. It's tab dot slash plugins slash JSON slash JSON. That indent type is tab. Right to plugins JSON complete. That's it. That doesn't seem right at all. I think let's give up here. I don't know what is going on. File IO. See, everything was fine, right? Right file should be up here. If indent is space, strings don't repeat by indent level, otherwise if it's type,
just set it to that, and we
say plugins common.read file, we read the file,
we
or
log
if there's an error,
type file, same file path, formatted
file content.files.
Okay, I am
Back, and I'm going to explain this very quickly. It's gotten so dark you can't even see me. Okay? But basically, for some weird ass reason, when I